Hello, good morning. It's another beautiful day. It's Monday, yes. Another day to get up and go to work after the long weekend. How are you doing and how is everyone around you doing? We're so glad that you could join us for today's live on Equa Television International. And on Mondays we always talk about work. Today we're looking at authentic communications or assumptions. Authentic communications or assumptions. A lot of times you find people not being able to clearly communicate what they want to others, and then assumptions begin to arise. Oh, I thought you meant this. No, I thought you were saying this. So a lot of people are in that dilemma of either not communicating clearly, or others assuming this and that. So today we are looking at authentic communications or assumptions. I have with me on the set Engineer Tony J. Nakali. Good morning.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome.
You see the problem? They didn't talk to somebody. So you two, they will introduce you.
My name is Joyce Jakada.
Good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
Prudence, good morning.
Good morning, Jimmy.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing
How was the weekend?
It was stressful.
Okay, Joyce, how was the weekend?
Amazing. It was awesome.
How was the weekend?
You know, jobless people don't have anything to do during the weekend. We don't know what is weekend. We don't know what is weekday. We don't know what is Monday. Some of us are always working for God in Equa. But some people, when they close Friday, when they go home, they will off their phone and do the work of the other Lord.
So the lords are many.
Please, people should stop. If you are in those categories, please, when you close for work on Friday, ensure that you keep doing the work of the master.
There are very many masters now.
So don't do God's work at work and then go for weekend and go and start doing another master's work.
Oh Lord our
So-
God.
Yeah, the work.
Okay, so you need to communicate very well so that we do not assume.
Oh, you're about to assume.
Okay, so we're talking about communicating, authentic communications or assumptions.
So you're standing on which one?
Mm?
I saw how Mr. Victor Bendy decided to share us on the fly, looking like there's going to be debate. I was wondering who are the assumptions and
Who are the authentic communicators?
You see, when you talk about that topic, what comes to my mind is, first of all, thank you for picking a very brilliant topic for us. And for once, a topic is very objective and brilliant in nature than the several topics we have been dealing with that we don't even understand what the topic is, but we have been talking about it. However, thank you so much, Jemima, for doing a great job picking a topic for us. You know,
Great, it's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm wondering the day other people will pick our clothes that we are wearing. People will see.
You look like masquerade.
People
Trust
will
me.
see terrible things on air and online. But then, what are you communicating? Are you communicating what you are assuming, or you are communicating what is authentic? Joyce, were you born when somebody woke up and said that we should bath with salt water and drink salt water?
This was just yesterday now.
Okay, yesterday somebody said that too.
I mean,
She
this
means
was
it was just a few years ago.
Like a figure of speech, right? Okay. She's being figurative on air. It's fine, at least. You know, she's brilliant. She likes claiming that.
I was going to clap.
Until the complimentary comment came.
I mean, it's Monday. We shouldn't start on this note.
We are talking about
Wednesday is
communication.
Tifa.
We are talking about communication. Some people just wake up and say what they feel is right about a situation, and then they communicate it, not minding the authenticity or the falsehood of the same information. So once something sounds like this is what is right in your head, you blow it out, and then people who are not as educated, they begin to follow you. Did you know that time people woke you up at 2 a.m.?
Yes.
Kuku Shagi Shirinko. People start calling you and asking you, have you taken the salt water? Okay, make sure You shower with it, you bath with it, you rub it on your body, leave it to sink in. It kills corona. Even that time when this thing came, COVID had not entered Nigeria seriously. If something common sense, if something was a global epidemic or pandemic, it was a global issue at that point in time. Why are other countries not bathing with salt water? Why was it chosen for only Nigerians? Okay, because we have black skin. What color of skin do they have in Ghana, in South Africa, in Namibia? In all of these African countries, it's the same skin color. So people did not pay mind to it. People just woke up, started calling. They called your mother in the middle of the night. Your mother is calling people. Some people have been flashing because they didn't have airtime. Send me airtime, 100 naira right now. There's something I need to tell you. Then you started feeling, maybe my mother is sick. Maybe what is happening? And then they start telling you things like that, even at work. Recently, someone was saying something good happened to someone. We went, congratulated the person, stayed with the person, and then a week later was his birthday. We went there, and there were no much people, and the news of what happened to him did not go very viral as we thought. And then one of his senior colleagues said, if it was something bad, maybe they fired him from work or he stole money or something, everybody in the state would have known. But you see, that communication was as positive as anything. People did not share, people did not talk, but when it's time to look for contract from that person, everybody will want to associate himself or herself with that person. So when you talk about communication as to when it is authentic or when it is a falsehood, what is shared the most is what is not true most of the times, if not all the time. At work, you hear maybe the head of that organization saying, Tuesday, we come to work by 8. Not really that we're doing anything. We have a meeting for an hour or so, and then we go. Then we take Tuesday as the whole day for break. Do you know what? Some people will say that 1 hour meeting, they will not even say anything important. So I think on Tuesday is a public holiday for us at work. You see how you have been misinformed, and when you take that to mind, you end up not coming to work on that Tuesday. Why? Because, and then they query you, say, no, it was, but I was told that. Who told you? And then the person starts saying, no, I didn't, that's not what I said. What I said was, we are coming by 8 to 9. You see, they have wrapped falsehood on that communication. And anything about communication, as a communicator, I'm going to tell you, it is important that you pass message the same way it was given. You are an excellent communicator. You do not embellish except in special cases. Maybe you can say other things to calm people down before you break the news to them. You see, this I or S or T, just an alphabet added to a word, can be a serious problem. Can be a serious problem. We were at an event and somebody said, let's invite the former of this organization. When the person came, he came up, he said, thank you, but Mr. MC, I am not the former, I am the immediate past. What should it matter? Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you are not on seat, you are former. Even though courtesy demands that you can say the immediate past so that people can know that this is, or there's, if it's older than former, you can say one time.
Yes.
So these are just, but they mean the same thing. You are just trying to be modest with how you break the news. So you see, there are people who don't care whether you get what they are saying right or not, especially when they have problems with you.
True.
Did you hear the message? Okay, tomorrow I think they said there's no work or we come by 8 or something. Just go and confirm, and then they pass.
And that's not clear.
But yes, that's not clear. And when they get to Prudence, tomorrow, Tuesday, 8 o'clock we'll be at work to 9. The MD said we'll be talking for 1 hour, maybe then we close by. See, it's different things she told you from, even if it's the same thing, the mode of communication.
Yes.
So people like communicating falsehood over, the reality.
Yes, and you know, some people is like they have the full information in their head. They tell you 30% and expect you to round up the remaining one. Like you're not in their minds, so you wouldn't know what they are. See, even if they tell you 90%, you would eventually have to guess the remaining
Give
one.
me the 100.
So what exactly?
You see, that is why I
Just
always
give me the
insist,
100.
like where we work, I insist that when you have to say something official, put it in writing, so that if there's anything, we can pick it up and say, okay,
Yes.
this is what was written, and
Yes.
this is what. There are several times people say, no, I was told this. Did you not receive a letter? Yes, I did, but since I was told, I didn't mind reading it. Okay. So you should not mind collecting the query as well, because the letter was given to you, even if it was photocopied, even whatever it is, a copy has been sent to you, explained to you, but you chose to do otherwise.
So you see, the communication has to be a two-way thing.
It has to be.
Yes.
I'm
When I
telling you have to accept
Yes.
or concur that you understand before I leave.
Or
If
even
you really want,
clarify.
yes, if you really want communication to be, what is communication? Means of interaction. I cannot interact with myself. I cannot have relations with myself. So if I want to communicate, Jamima, are you aware that on Tuesday we're not coming to work? We just come for an hour, 8 o'clock, and then we leave at 9? Were you told?
Yes.
Okay, so I was asked by the HOP to tell you that on Tuesday we come to work the regular time. 8 we have a meeting, 9 we close, and then take the rest of the day off. That's what I've been told. Are there any questions?
So once we leave, we'll come back on Wednesday, right?
Yes. Are there any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. We have communicated. Jamima, Tuesday you come to work 8 o'clock to 9, and then you leave. That's half-baked communication.
True.
It's not even baked at all.
It's not.
So you do, that's communication. We just had an interaction. But you know, because of what people have personally with people, they will not open up. And why am I telling her all of these things? Am I the GM that sent me?
But majorly, my issue is, why would you bring in personal problems to the work area? It's work. That is why it is called work for you.
Because you meddled in people's affairs, and then you brought people into your life that you shouldn't have. That is the only reason. Because everything in this life is consequential. And I've always told people, keep your relationship at work strictly professional. When you start looking for somebody that you can discuss with, you can tell this, you can tell that, you should check. Is that other person also communicating the same way with you? If he is he telling you the same magnitude of things as you do to them? If not, something is wrong. Why would I be telling you I trekked this morning? Do you know how I got to work? But me, I'm telling you deeper things. I had an abortion of Prudence. Honestly, it almost killed me. And now I'm suspecting that I'm pregnant. That's a very, very serious information.
You obviously
Compare
didn't.
it to KK broke down on my way to work, or water splashed on me on my way to work, or I almost got to office almost 5 minutes after resumption time, and all that. That's not is a regular information. If I can go as far as telling you how I bled having an abortion, and you cannot reciprocate, you are not a gossip mate. People, gossips are always foolish. That's why when you see two people together, no, I didn't tell her that. I didn't. You see the other person, I'm surprised. So you do this to me. You know, she did it to you a long time ago. You would have noticed. You would have been communicating alone. And you have been authentic with your communication. She has not been. She never told you anything about her.
True.
Keke broke down. Is that not a regular story? It's
thing.
an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. So people should wise up. I'm telling him this magnitude of things, and he's telling me things that are least important. As far as gossip is concerned, So some
It's
people have
one-way
to be
traffic.
wise. When people do you stuff like that, you put yourself for things to be done to you that way.
Yes. So I asked that question because it just makes it harder for you to actually communicate if you bring in personal issues to work. For something that you could just literally just ask a question. Okay, so you mean this exactly, right? If I do it this way and this way, it will work out. That's what you're expecting from me. And the person just goes, yes, and you go your way. But because you don't want to offend this person, you would go the extra mile of saying, "Oh no, I understand you. I get exactly what you mean," and you go and do something else entirely. So a lot of times when we're talking about communication, there's bridges that have been built because or broken because of certain protocols that we have bridged. In a work environment that is strictly supposed to be for work, and we bring in other things into it, we automatically just make communication very hectic and hard. We bring in preferential treatments because, oh no, I like this person, so I'm going to explain what I need from him or from her as a boss talking to their subordinates. And because of that, you find that you spend more time explaining to this person because you favor him, and less time explaining to the other person. And immediately this other person gets something wrong, you blow up because you don't like that person. But because you like this person, your reaction is lesser, or the results of that person's mistake is, or the consequences of that person's mistake is lesser. So we find that a lot in the work environment because there's a bridge in communication. When you're talking about authentic communication, is that there's nothing that would cause a bridge in communication. There's nothing that would stop the information being passed accordingly. Authentic information that is detailed and of facts and not just assumptions. A lot of times when you don't pass out information, that is automatically giving room for assumptions, because especially in a work environment, you can't expect that work will not continue. So if you don't give the information that is needed, the people will assume the things that they think would make the work continue. Go ahead and do it, but that's not exactly what you want. So communication is really of essence. And as human beings, everybody just wants to communicate. You want to have information. You want to be in the know. You don't want to be left out. So because you are left out, you assume the worst. And one interesting thing about assumption is that assumptions are more in the negative than in the positive. It's very rare that you find someone assuming in the positive light. So it just causes disruption at work because assumptions keep coming up because of lack of legitimate information.
It's just unfortunate, Prudence, because we're in a time of communication advancements in communication technology. Like you would expect that communication becomes very simple, but today it's harder for people to communicate, especially at work. Like people just make assumptions, like they come up with beliefs and conclusions about issues, about matters, and they hold on so tight to it.
She
And
should
like,
know.
Yeah, he should know. Like recently,
By
I got a message, and then the person was like, "You should know." And I was thinking, in an environment, a formal work environment, I think even on the street, you always have notices, and you have the members of the association going around to pass information clearly. But you find people telling you should know. These are assumptions. You holding on to beliefs or conclusions about matters. Sometimes when I hear people say you should know, or I just want, am I a magician? How am I supposed to know? Am I in your heart? Do you understand? Because communication entails sharing of information, passing of
Detailed
information,
Yes.
thoughts or
Detailed
ideas. Like that is why in the process of communication, you have the sender and the receiver. And for you to say communication is effective, there must be feedback. But a lot of times we don't communicate or listen to communications to understand. Like we communicate when people are talking to us, we are in a hurry to respond, and that is why we end up making assumptions. There are times that you're talking to someone, a colleague, for example, I know, and you have not finished passing the information. The person tells you that, don't worry, I know, based on assumptions that, okay, yes, it's possible you've been doing that project, but now that I'm passing this project, you don't know that maybe there's something that has been added to it, or maybe there's a different way that we want the things to be done. But I say, no, don't worry, I know. It's not like this, I know. So you see, you are getting,
Or the GM told me.
or
already.
the GM told me. Like you find this, it's just so common, and that is why you find conflict in organizations. That's why you find out like organization being stagnant. That's why you find organization not being productive. Today, when you talk about organizational conflict, the major cause of organizational conflict is communication.
Yes.
Because think about it, if we communicate effectively, if we have authentic communication, then everything will be done like smoothly. But in a situation where you're just left like prudency, if there is no information, people will make assumptions because you have to work.
Even if there is information, people still
make assumptions, talk more,
and they make mistakes a lot of.
Yes.
So it's a two-way thing. It can come from the person that is supposed to pass the information, or it can come from the person that is supposed to receive
You know,
the information.
this communication thing, Joyce, you are saying it, and I'm just looking at it from maybe a wider or broader angle. Communication not only informs you, it directs you.
Yes.
It directs you. Even if you are told that there's going to be an event in the hall, in our own case now, it's going to be an event in the hall. What hall? Because we have a lot of them. Okay, the newly renovated hall. Okay, what are we going to do? We're covering it. How? As news item or as an event? Or are we streaming? So we will be like, it is send forth an installation of an ECWA executive and a trustee. Why should you even start thinking, oh, the way we did it last time is the same way we are doing it this time? That means you have not grown.
Yes.
You have not grown. Okay, what do we do different from what we have always done? But you know, people rely on past information to deal with present issues or predicaments. It's wrong.
That's why you always hear, this is how we have always been doing
And
it.
it's a common statement in Africa. Who are you to come and change it? Before your father was born
We've always done
in
it
this church, that's how we take communion. We don't take communion with your legs crossed. You have to sit properly if you want to be served. Then they pass you and say, when you are ready to take communion, you know what to do. It's as if the throat is on my leg. Do you understand? But that other part, you just brought that, and I just have to, I just have to make it broader.
The bullet was straight.
It was
honestly, communication will not only direct you, it will guide you.
True.
Who is bringing this information? Okay, this is coming from the GM. It came to the unit heads. Now it is coming to you. Okay. Are there special things we are expected to do other than what we have done regularly? Okay, I did not hear that from the head of unit, but let me ask her first. And when you ask, because you are still communicating, as long as that program has not taken place yet, you have to keep communicating. Even after the program. You have to come back and do a review of how, well, people don't have time for that in most cases. In those days, I will always ask people after a production, let's sit down and watch it, especially when I produce a film. I said, let's sit down and watch it. So let's rate the actors in case we are auditioning next time. We don't need Joyce again because she had been corrected over this 15 times. Now we have edited the program with a wrong information. This Prudence, she made a cameo, but she's supposed to be given a lead role. If we knew, we would have given Prudence the role of Joyce. You see, that is the reason why you have to come back and sit down. You have pre, you have during, and you have post. In everything in life, it's not just production. Everything in life, you have to sit down and plan it. That's the pre. And then you actualize it. That's the event itself. Then you post, do what you did. Then you see where you got it wrong. And then you correct it before people are giving the final product to consume. In information, passing of information, when you say, me, I don't know, as a unit head, me, I don't know, you are probably close to the GM, go and ask him. You have broken not just the communication chain, but you have tempered with the organogram of the organization. The organogram says, after the head of the department, this set of people. After them are this set of people. After them are this set of people. And everybody knows where they start. That is also another communication.
You see, earlier on I was talking about conflict in the organization, and partly or majorly one of the causes is when you have an organogram, for example, and communication does not flow that way. Like, because as far as your success is concerned, you must learn how to communicate effectively at work or at your own place of business.
Especially
If not,
women.
things will just get
True.
distorted.
That's true.
I mean, we spend more time talking about things that are irrelevant and then forgetting things that are relevant.
Not
Like
just
information
irrelevant to work or to life.
to
Yes,
life.
yes.
Imagine
I'm telling you.
communication that will guide your work, that will guide your business. You are hoarding it. Like you find situations where people that are heading, let's say, unit or department, you have the information that you should share to your your employees, and you hoard that information. Like, what do you expect of them? Is it assumption, like Prudence say work must go on, so they should make assumptions, and when they make the assumption and as the assumptions tilting towards the negative, what do you expect the outcome at the end of the day to be? It's going to be poor performance or poor outcome, because people are just working based on assumptions. So, like, the importance of communication cannot be underemphasized or overemphasized. It's something that every business, every organization, every employer must take very serious. As far as the success of your business is actually concerned, your communication must be clear. It must be concise. If you have an organogram as an organization, let your communication flow goes that way. Like, not just from top to bottom, each consider bottom to top also, because if you give responsibility, it's ideal that you get feedback from those people that you give the responsibility. But you find out people just, like, people come to work and then they just work based on the assumptions on their head. They are done, they close and go. Or maybe in a situation where you're expecting that, okay, there's going to be production, let me hear the head of production telling me that these are the modalities. Then you're hearing somebody that is at the gate coming to tell you, are you aware that you have so program, for example, or coming to tell the head of you, do you know that you have a meeting by 2:00? And you see how information can just get distorted and all of that. And maybe the way the person is passing the information, that's not how the information is coming. Or where you have people working with you and they're asking, what's the next step? And you're saying, me too, I don't know. Like, how do you expect to succeed in such situation where you don't communicate effectively? Why would you work in a formal organization and expect people to make assumptions? Well, in fact, when you work in a place and you start talking like, I think you should, or I think it's like this, just know that something is wrong.
Of course, you're not
Yes.
sure.
Because
you
you are
keep
not supposed to be working without clear information. Communication is only effective when you get feedback. Personally, a lot of times when people pass information for me, as far as it's not written, that I can read over and over again for understanding. Sometimes you ask me and I say, do you mean this? Like, if you want to understand information or communication clearly, even if you get it the first time, you should ask again. Your assumption should only be that you did not understand, so that you get cleared, rather than you just say, oh, I know. No, is it not, guys, how we did it the other time? No problem. Because by the time you assume, the person might decide to, okay, let me allow you. And then you go and do it your own way, and you find out that the things are not working and you're coming back.
It's amazing how you can save yourself a lot
Lots
of
of
trouble
stress.
if you can just be quiet and listen.
True.
Just sit down quietly and listen. I'm not sure there is an information anywhere that will take an hour passing. I don't think so. At most a minute, it has been communicated. If you ask a question, they answer you. If you don't have any question, if it's clearly understood, you move on. You see, personal issues get in the way of the things that we do.
So why do people bring personal issues to work?
It's
They don't
because you
even
have,
know how
it's
to
because
differentiate.
it's because you have
You don't know
opened
the
yourself
mixed
up
up.
and have said things you shouldn't have said.
You don't want to go back.
Do you understand? You just created a relationship between you and Jemima, and everything is all rosy until the day you started liking Martha over Jemima. That's the issue. Jemima doesn't want to hear anything from you again. Go and tell Martha.
Okay, so how do you handle a situation where, for example, you have a head of a unit and then the head of the unit has people he or she is working with, but eventually I had problem with one of, maybe because I give an instruction and the person does not adhere to it, and then you decide to go to a different person and then relegate. Like, how do you handle such situation? As far as work is concerned, should you bring that personal issue?
Every
to work?
organization has policy or policies that are guiding the place. In most cases, when you are told something, go and clearly communicate it. When you do that, you have that. It's called insubordination.
True.
So what is the punishment for insubordination? You just evoke it on the person and act like nothing happened. That's the most painful. Anytime people try to overstep their boundaries, you use the, like in Ecuador they say, use the books. I'm telling you,
That book,
they'll just say use the books, and that's where you see somebody humble. Please now, because why do you? The Bible says when you break an old wall, you'll be beaten by the snake. They like living there. So when you see an old wall, avoid it. The mistakes that are avoidable at work are the mistakes that are commonly done repeatedly. The mistakes that are avoidable, the mistakes that people know, this one, if I do it, it is detrimental. But they forge ahead. How can you tell somebody something? The person refuses to do it. But another person from a different unit will tell the person, you see the person doing it happily. Just so that they can spite you. You just pick up the book. Because you know what? In every organization, there is an assumption. In every organization. Joyce is heading a unit, but we are all the same now. We are employed the same year. My salary and hers are the same. So it is your responsibility as Joyce to prove to them that, no, we are not on the same level. Because when you pick up a book and write, query, I don't want to call it query, it's a question. You put up a book, pick up your pen and write and give the person. The person must reply you.
True.
And that is the only way the person will have an idea that, this Joyce or this Jemima or this Prudence, they have an edge over me. So what I should do is anytime they speak, I should learn to listen. Not only right, but make sure that punishment is served. Not because you hate the person, but you want to prove a point to the person. What is the point? Not that I'm your senior. I am also working with a policy. It is called a document. I agreed when I was given an invitation or an employment letter. I agreed that I'm going to uphold it and I'm going to do whatever it says. Now, letting you go, I'm not just offending the organization, but I'm breaking a promise and a vow that I made to man and to God. So that is just the only way you can deal with that. I still smile with the person. Don't show the person like there is something. No. I can give you a query the next time I see you at a restaurant. I'm buying you food. It has nothing to do with what I wrote.
I mean, this is just an angle to it, because where I'm coming from again is this, where let's assume
Dama, you have never been satisfied with any answer. Have you ever seen Joyce okay with an answer?
I think we need to just address this.
And she's not as brilliant, but you give her a very good.
I'm working with brilliant people, so
Okay,
the Bible
in other
say
words.
when you have when I have 3 wise people, I'm also
Wise.
so. And if I am foolish, okay, so
Wow!
that statement.
no, do you
Don't
mean
worry, Jemima. Message received. Message
We
received.
thanks.
wow.
Message received.
We thanks.
So sir,
Message received. Don't
We
worry.
thanks.
so that's what
This
you
is
see.
not an assumption.
No.
This is a perfect communication.
You see, I'm not bothered when you say I feel I'm intelligent, because I know I'm working with the wise. So we are a unit, right? Joyce Shakada. Apologies.
No, don't go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I just said you have to prove to people that you are ahead.
I know.
Please watch the show tomorrow.
Don't use the book. So we are a unit, and you're heading the unit.
Who is you?
We are a unit today's life, and the
Use prudent. Right, sir.
Prudence, you are heading the unit, today's life unit, and just for some reasons you're angry with me, who is probably your assistant, and then you have issues with me, and there's an information that needs to be passed, or probably you would not be at work, and so who automatically your assistant should take responsibility. But because you have issues with Joyce and Jemima, I'm moving the baton to you, so take charge, make sure everything is working. And like, should that be obtainable in a formal organization, that
No.
because you have personal issues
No.
with somebody that should
You
be your
shouldn't.
assistant,
No,
and you're
who-
passing the
Who
baton?
cares about
personal
whether
issues
your
has
issues are
nothing to
personal
do
or they are
with
official?
Today's life.
That is the link, right? That is the link.
Yes.
Okay, there is a breach to your area. right? There is a very big river and there is a bridge. But the people in the area disagreed with the government. They said it must be a dual lane bridge. But the government said at that point in time, we don't have money. We can only make a single lane bridge. When a car is coming from the other direction, it should wait until this car, passes the bridge. Then this car can pass. And then the people in the community decide not to use the bridge. And that's the only way to come to town. That's the only way. You die of hunger. Except that bridge is blown by a bomb or something. Then it becomes a predicament. But you see, that one, you have created an artificial chaos for yourself.
True.
As far as the government is concerned, if you like, use it. If you like, don't use it. At the detriment of your businesses, your children's education, because they have to cross over to get school, they have to cross over to get food, they have to cross over to do business, they have to cross over to get medical health care, they have to cross over for everything. So if you do not cross, at whose peril is it?
Yours. Applies to the work environment.
It applies, it's applicable.
So you see, these are some of the things that just cause chaos. Because
Yes.
for Jemima, probably every morning she brings you a plate of rice, and Joyce cannot afford to give you that. And then you feel, oh, I know she's my assistant, but Jemima take the
Bring
portion.
her a
Things like
full plate of cow. If there's a plate that can take a whole cow, bring it to her. I am still Prudence's boss or assistant, as the case may be. So if she doesn't come to me with information and she takes it to Jemima, the day that I also can exercise my powers, I will do it. When she comes crying, no, go and meet Jemima to help you out.
I mean, because that's another point. Because
That is
people
your
getting
channel
frustrated at
of
work.
communication. So go and meet her.
Because some people get frustrated, for example, at work. Personally, for me, I don't think you have any cause to worry. As
It's
Joyce,
only
her
a foolish
assistant,
person that
I
will be
don't
worried.
I mean, you're easing me of some
Of
work.
course.
But you see, some people take that person at work that it even affects them. I'm the one that is supposed to do this, and they are giving it. Are you not supposed to be happy that somebody is doing it for you?
What about
And then
why?
the foolishness of the other person that it's me that have the information. It's either you're hoarding.
Let me tell you
or-
something. Let me tell you something. Practical example. Do you know that there are committees that should not operate without the GM of Ekwa Television? But I see them operating without me. Did I die?
Life
I
goes on.
didn't die. There are a lot of things that have to do with my department. But I see the department relegated to the rear. What do? Nothing. I always think my leaders know why. Period. Do I complain? Sometimes, yes. And my complaint is for the betterment of the organization. I think that even if we are not in the committee, we should be intimated that this is what is going on. Then we can be able to say, this is what should be done by whoever, we don't care, but this is what should be done and this is how it should be done. And then that minute, they look for you. Several times it has happened. There are people who just feel you shouldn't be in anything. There are people who feel, must he be the one doing everything, every day, every point, every event? But no, you sit down and watch. It's just like saying, I'm sick. Must I go to the doctor? Why won't I go to the mechanic? Go now.
Go.
You go, the mechanic will tell you that I only fix things that are related to automobile and all of that. I don't fix human beings. I can't even advise you. But you see, at that level where I am recognized as director, it doesn't happen that way. What do? I don't kill myself. It is executive decision. It is more like an executive order. What should you do? And they can call you and come and say, this is what is expected. You come and do it gladly. Even if you are not glad, show that you are gladly doing it.
if
And
you
then
have
you
the
go.
opportunity to
How
plead your
much
case, you
more
do that.
you come to a unit, a department? There is a director that was neglected at the top. There is a unit head that the top does not even know is a unit head. And there is one small person somewhere that they are not even aware is employed. So where should your worry go to? That person, we don't even, except something happens, they don't even know that that person is your staff. Sometimes I walk in, who is this? It's Prudence. It's our staff, Dinkune. Okay, how long have you been with Ekwa TV? This is like 6 years. Oh, wow. GM, you have very brilliant people. Meanwhile, they don't even know the people.
True.
It's true. It's the same thing. So Ekwa is big. big as an organization. Look at Diamond Bank. It's big as a bank. So when you mess up, they don't even know. Until you do something terrible, they send your name up. Somebody will just say, this name has come up several times. Relieve the person of the duty. Now let's face what is in front of us. Jemima, do you know how chaotic this country is? By the simple reason that the economy still dwindles. Who has time to be listening to somebody that in the small space? How much are you buying one measure of rice? It's true. How much are you? A shirt now, how much did you buy? 25,000. A 5,000 naira shirt 2-3 years ago, it's now 25,000. Pick it or leave it.
True.
So nobody is even arguing with you. Okay, I bought this thing 24,500. I transported it 300 naira. 200 naira is my own. Okay, if you don't want, I beg. They don't have time. And this is, you have time to discuss issues that are very, 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 I don't even know.
You see, the major issue is we neglect order. Order is placed there to make things easy for you. Order is placed at the work environment. You have organograms, you have hierarchy and all that because it aids your work. But because we let other things to disrupt this order, automatically we'll just have a major issue. So when we're talking about communication, authentic communication, it's just about following order. Actually, it's basically that order expects that you explain yourself very clearly so that the person that is receiving the information gets it correctly. You use the right vocabulary. For some people, they tend to use, let me not do what I'm trying to stop people from doing. They use
it
big
now.
words. They use big words. You end up using big words, and your subordinates does not understand a word of what you're saying. And this person just goes ahead and like, okay, so he's probably just telling me to do what I have been doing. So let's just go ahead and do it.
Assumption.
So work continues based on assumption. And at the end of the day, like,
work
no,
wrongly continues. Wrongly
continues. And yeah, like, this is not what I mean. I meant this and this. Oh, sorry, sir. I thought you meant this because this is the word you use. Misinformation. So a lot of times, people, you need to effectively communicate. You need to understand the environment that you are in, the people that you are working with. You cannot go ahead and be talking to a cleaner the same way you talk to another director. That's depending on how the environment is. But you should understand the audience that is listening to you. You should know who you're talking to, and sometimes even the emotions of the person that you're talking to. There are some people that you are literally talking to them and they are not even listening to you because they're somewhere else. You should understand at that situation too as well, and be able to call the attention of the person. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Make sure that your information is gotten. That what you're communicating is received. That's when communication is actually communication.
Other times we make assumptions, Prudence, by talking to the wrong people. For
True.
example, you didn't see Joyce, and then you're wondering, why is she not at work? Call her and ask her, I didn't see you today. But you go and meet a different person and say, this one I did not see Joyce. And the other person, I think she went to see her boyfriend. And probably she's...
And then you pick it up as an official information.
Do you understand?
Yes. Even if you call her and she tells you she's elsewhere, you would still have that notion that she just lied.
So sometimes we are asked questions as far as work is concerned. And then we either don't give, if you are in a position to give information, give it. Don't hold the information. And you say, I don't know, or I think so. Where do you want the person to go and get the right information?
You know, Joyce, several times as GM, there's something I see people do. I hear them do it all the time. I just laugh. I just come, Prudence, where's Jemima? She's not here. In other words, I should go and look for her. Since I asked you, and I can't see her there, ordinarily, what should you... I don't even know where she is. What should you do? Okay, let me just stand up and look for Jemima for me. That is what is expected. Even if I don't ask you to do it. Where is Victor? He just stepped out. It's not true. You know where he went to. He went to get sugar because he likes drinking tea, or he went to get coffee, or he went to do this. Just say it. It's information. I might be angry that Victor is not at work at that point in time, but what if he went to the hospital with his son? It's equally important. Then I will know that I'm not expecting Victor back in the next hour. So where is Sam? Sam is editing something. Okay, call Sam for me. Sam, please leave what you're doing. We need this to go on air by 2. So just cut this, do this, and export it for me. When Victor comes back, we can talk about where he went to. Give information the way you are supposed to give information. He stepped out. You are all working together. He stepped out. He didn't tell you where he was going. Yes. HR, where is John? John said he needs to get medicine. His head is aching. Where did he go to buy it? At the pharmacy. Just okay. In the next 10 minutes, he should be back. Okay. As a head, you already know what you are looking for. But sometimes people will just tell you, I don't know where she is.
Or I'll not be at work tomorrow. No reason. Like that's not communication.
You know. A lot of times people come to me and say, "This I'll not be at work, sir. I want to attend a funeral service." So why are you coming to me? Don't you have a HR? Don't you have a unit head?
Exactly.
You don't come to me. Then I ask you, is that how we take excuse at work? I thought we were supposed to feel it. Do you know what? When people feel it, they drop it. Once it's on my table, they go, whether it's approved or not. You know, this work thing, people must understand. What you are going there to do is to show sympathy. What you are at work to do is to earn money for your life. Which one is more important? That is why sometimes when they invite me for certain things, if I have money, I just send. What is your presence there doing? We were at an event. Of course.
That is not now.
We were at an event in Abuja, and then somebody very prominent was missing at the event. And then someone came and met me and said, call so person now. Let him come. They have been calling his name here. And then someone said, no, don't call him to be here. Call him to send his donation. Which one is more important? The person can be there and not give anything. No, we don't need him to come and sit there. And you know, most of the events I've attended, the ones that didn't have much people are the ones that are recorded to have had a lot of donations. Because people feel, I didn't go there. Let me just send. In fact, if you add the money of your fuel, if you add the stress of traffic, if you add everything, and you save yourself, you just lie down at home and send the money. If he's launching, it's better.
Let them not get this twisted.
They should get it twisted.
Organize
If you invite somebody to come and give you money,
to stay back now.
Jemima, if you invite somebody to come and give you money for an event, and the person does not come, he does not send a representative, or the person did not come but he sent you money, which one will you believe? Which one will you prefer?
What if it's not a launching?
Thank you very much.
No, it's different. It's different. But I was giving the instance based on what I attended. So finally, the person did not come. He didn't send anything. 2-0. You know. So I feel that people should be precise when you have something to pass across. Don't just pass it well. Make sure the person you are telling understands. A lot of times, most of the reasons why people don't get satisfaction at work is because of the things that they have brought to themselves other than work or other than official responsibilities.
In fact, beyond work, generally in life, almost all the conflict we experience is because of like assumptions, and it leads to misunderstanding, it leads to chaos. When there's conflict, it's only effective communication that can de-escalate the situation. But where you have what is termed incommunicado, you just pass an information that people don't understand. At the end of the day, the situation can just keep like escalating. So it's very important. We cannot live in this age that communication is just the in thing, and then still we don't know how to communicate. Some of us is, or for some people is because of their bad character or how they are being raised or the environment they come up with. I mean, how can you be in an environment that thing that that day what kind of talk is that one? You can't be in a formal organization and say, hey, you remember that thing? Which one is that thing? So you are telling the person to assume. Or you're saying, you remember that program that just carry it and go and give and you just walk out. that's not communication, because at the end of the day, the person might go and carry a different program and go and slot it at different time, and you're like, wow, but that's not what I said. You didn't communicate clearly. So it's important that we understand that this communication is vital as far as our success, our productivity is concerned. It can make you like grow beyond even your imagination. Like Engineer Tony said, it gives direction. Like when you don't have information, you are confused, you are stagnated, you are just at a T junction. But when you have a clear communication, like it means you know where you're heading and the reason why you're there. That's why I say beyond work, when you communicate with people, like ensure that there's meaning, ensure that there's understanding, ensure you have feedback as well. If you need to assume, let your assumption be that you did not get the message, let the person like say it the second time, but not just for you to shut the person up and say I know what to do, or you say, instead of asking questions, sometimes because of pride and personal issues again, we are supposed to ask questions at work, and then you feel who is Jemima for me to go and start asking a question? Let me
She'll
just
feel
do-
important.
Do you understand? When the person is heading you and you are saying the person will feel important because of personal like reasons. Oh, she's always changing her hair, so let her deal with it. I will not talk with her. But like Engineer Tony said, as far as
Women.
organization is concerned, we
Women.
must ensure that we do the right thing at the right time. We shouldn't provide any room for assumption. And if you are heading a place or you are in position to give people information, make sure that it's clear, make sure that it's concise, make sure they understand it. Don't hoard information.
A woman-
if you hoard it, what will you do?
A woman was
True,
asked,
true.
if you are America's president, what would you do? She said, if a country offends America, we will not bomb them. She said, we will not bomb them. Instead, we'll just make fun of how they dress and move on.
So really, if you are in a position that requires you to give out instructions, give out information, don't hold it to yourself, because the little time you would waste may affect somebody out there. So it is important that
What
you
is an
give out.
organization without information?
Some just
It's called
hold
an
it to
organization
themselves
because
to
it's organized. There is order.
True. So it is important that you really give out information. And a lot of times people don't hold you in high esteem, because in as much as you are in a high position, in that position to give out information, you still stoop so low and begin to meddle with people in a way that is not appropriate. So by the time you're coming back to give information, nobody is even
Take it
taking you
serious.
serious. Everybody, you see, they all say, see, finish. You have brought yourself so low that nobody is taking you serious. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you, Engineer
I'm
Tony
happy I
Jane
came.
Akale. Joyce, thank you. Prudence, thank you.
Always
Let's
a
do this
pleasure.
tomorrow again. Just like you have heard, it's important that you give out that information very, very clearly, because even when you do, people get to assume. So imagine that you do not speak clearly to people. It is important that you speak always clearly, even if it means you have to repeat yourself, just so that people understand, and be sure that you get that feedback so that you can know that your information has been passed out clearly. Thank you so much, and do have a great day. Bye.